Is Pokemon at an all-time low? And if it is, what it means for you. So of course everyone knows, back in 2020, that's when this huge surge of interest in Pokemon came. And it's all thanks to this one guy, and I'm sure we've all heard of him, Logan Paul. He seemed to be getting the ball rolling when it came to like everyone wanting Pokemon, right? They wanted sealed product, they wanted any cards that they can get their hands on. But also, I would like to think that it was part of the pandemic, right? You had nothing to do, everyone was stuck inside for the most part. Since you couldn't go out, you had all this money to spend, and what better way to spend your money than on Pokemon, right? People do stupid things when they're bored and they have tons of money. So of course, with everyone trying to grab Pokemon cards, that's when prices started to skyrocket, right? Older product went up in price. It was so hard to find stuff on the shelf, and then of course, when you got scalpers, they're gonna start selling shit for double no matter what they do. Graded cards were also rising up in price. I believe before it was like very cheap to get your cards graded, and then with PSA and Beckett and CGC obviously cashing in on this hype, everyone raised their prices. Which some people didn't know any better and they paid their prices. I was one of those people. I paid like $150 to grade 3 cards that definitely didn't need to be graded, or they could have waited. I didn't know any better. But of course, in particular, you saw Charizard prices going absolutely through the roof. First edition Charizard, one of the highest ones was like $270,000 for a PSA 10, which is absolutely bonkers. But again, with hype comes people being irresponsible, so they're going to buy it. So I'd like to think that this craze kept going on for a couple years, but as time went on, less and less people started to care about Pokemon cards. They had to go back to work, they had more responsibilities, so of course you're going to see more product being on the shelf. With more product being on the shelves, obviously that means prices are going to drop. But I also think that the hype also led to one thing: Pokemon being overprinted this shit. You can go to Walmart now and see stacks of this stuff. It's definitely not going off the shelves like it used to, but don't get me wrong, there's obviously still cards that people want and they can be really expensive. The older stuff, as we've seen, like Team Up booster boxes, why I don't know, this is just crazy to me. They're now $2,000 for one booster box of Team Up, and I don't even know if this has anything to do with like the hype. I just think, that's market manipulation by some people, and it's gonna stay there. I can't see it dropping anytime soon. But I'm not here to talk about the Sun and Moon era. I'm talking about Sword and Shield, and honestly, I could say that ended pretty well. Crown Zenith was a pretty popular set to end on, but it only could get worse from there. After Crown Zenith, the Scarlet and Violet era was introduced. The trading card game would be released on March 31st, 2023, which is not even that long ago, which is crazy to think about. And while it was exciting to see new Pokemon, the series started with problems, mainly because of the game being buggy when it was first released on the Switch. I think with a combination of both Pokemon card fatigue as well as lazy designs for the Scarlet and Violet era, and I'm looking at Diglett and the Tentacool reskins, I guess if you want to call them that, the card game kind of fell flat. Obviously, with the Japanese waifu craze going on, everyone wanted the Miriam card, right? But it wasn't the same success as it was in Japan. When the English version was released of Scarlet and Violet, it was okay for a week, but that's usually how card games go, and then prices have dropped. The Miriam card is now only like $43, which is not a lot of money for like the chase card of a set. It's not the worst, but it's certainly not the best. But of course, with Paldea Evolved and Obsidian Flames, they're really not that far behind. At least with Paldea, you got the Iono. The Iono is about $100, which is fairly decent, but then the prices drop from there. Magikarp is a close second with $53, I think, and then from there it just kind of drops off. And then Obsidian Flames, the Charizards, of course, are the top cards. The top Charizard card is $76, which, again, I'm not a big fan of, but to each their own. The thing with the Scarlet and Violet era, though, is that you can get all 3 of these booster boxes for $100 or less. Now, that's really good in the long term, but it also shows that there is a lot of supply but not enough demand. These prices aren't bad for these cards, but compare them to Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, and Chilling Reign, they're not good because those sets at least have multiple cards that are over $100, and I can't see these cards going above $100 anymore. Another set that I'm not excited about either is Paradox Rift. It looks as though as if Pokemon is trying to save itself again, bringing back older cards like Ace cards or something. And then they're going to try like a new game mechanic with future and past. But as a collector, it doesn't really appeal to me that much. Maybe as a player, it could appeal more. But like when it comes to collecting, I'm like, I don't really care what kind of different styles they have on different cards. I want to see like what nice cards they have. And honestly, with the reveal of the Garchomp SAR, I don't care for it. I mean, it's very weak. It looks exactly almost like the Charizard SAR from Obsidian Flames. Like, why aren't we doing more with the SAR terraforms? I don't know. Someone please explain that to me. Another thing we're getting because of all of this product is you can now get discounted prices. When Crown Zenith first came out, the shiny Zamazenta and Zacian boxers were $60. You can now grab them for around $50, which is pretty good. And now if you look, I mean, what I just opened with the heavy hitters, you can get 14 packs for $40, which is about $3.50 a pack. And especially because it comes with Lost Origin and Evolving Skies. There's very good potential that you can get good cards, but again, I think it just comes down to there's too much product and they just don't know what to do with it. Another reason why I think this Pokemon hype is at an all-time low is why for the past 3 years, like everyone's been collecting and great, you know, awesome. Nothing wild has happened, but also with the release of Lorcana, I think everyone's focus has shifted to Lorcana. I mean, I'm going to say I'm a victim of it as well. I mean, I'm not going to collect it. Like, I'm mostly a seller. But it's something new. It's something exciting, I think, to people. You know, we've all seen Pokemon. You know, we're all seeing the same designs of Pokemon over and over again, or so it seems. But with Lorcana, the hype is there, right? You want it, you can't grab it, so everyone's focusing on that. They also have the awesome enchanted cards. They look great. They look amazing. And, you know, Disney's a huge company. Everyone was brought up, or almost everyone was brought up watching Disney movies. So it might almost have like a bigger reach as well. With that, Pokemon is just kind of taking a back burner to that. And there's nothing we can do about it. Now, I do think that Pokemon kind of sees this happening because I think they're trying to bring back your old, like for nostalgia's sake. That's why they made 151. Obviously with just the original Pokemon, and I think that's their way of trying to pull people back and be like, hey, no, we're still here, please buy our cards. It's a great set. I've opened up about 2 boxes of 151, and you know, it's a lot of fun to open, sure, but how long is that gonna last? With the English version coming out, you know, I feel like, yeah, people are gonna flock to the stores and get it because not everyone can grab the Japanese one. But once that's done, like I said, Paradox Rift is coming out, and there's nothing crazy there that you haven't seen before. I don't know. I could be wrong, but, you know, let me know. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that 151 is trying to save Scarlet and Violet era? Or is it, you know, was it already pre-planned? So as a collector and investor, what does this all mean to you? Well, it's a very good thing if you think about it. For prices being so low right now is the time to buy. You can buy booster box cases for less than $600, which is crazy. So that's like about maybe like 90 something dollars a booster box. But the thing is, these need to be long-term investments. You can't outbuy them and expect them to gain money immediately. Just think back in 1998 when the original base set came out. A first edition now for unopened is like $250,000. A regular base set unopened is $15,000. Can you imagine if you just bought them back then and you're like, oh shit, and you sold them immediately? Now it's like, I wish I bought them back then. But that's the same thing with these booster boxes, is we don't know what's gonna happen. They could honestly just lose all value, but they could also gain an insane amount of value. We don't know. So that's why it's more like a long-term investment instead of buying them now and selling them like a year down the road. You're not going to make much money. As a collector, it's good for these cards to be so low because now you can complete your sets without having to break the bank. A lot of the time you can go on TCG Player and they're pretty reasonably priced cards, but you just have to wait. You can't immediately buy these cards when they first come out, or else you're going to be spending way too much money. FOMO is a thing, sure, I know, we've all been there, but also just wait, because no matter what, a card is going to drop. there's only been like a few rare instances, and I'm talking about the Umbreon from Evolving Skies, because I don't know what happened there, and the Giratina. Giratina was low, and then all of a sudden it's been hanging around 300 almost since it's been released. But I would say as soon as prices start to climb up, that would be your best bet to buy stuff, because that way, you know, you're getting a better deal than say down the line when it shoots up and you're like, fuck, I could have bought it for $300 less than what it is now. But with that being said, hopefully Pokemon can come up with some idea that wows everybody again and brings them back. Now, it might be a couple years or so. Everyone might just kind of go off and do their own thing. Lorcana might be a new thing for a bit, and then people will go back to Pokemon. Like, Pokemon's not going anywhere. It's been here forever, and it's not going to go away. Lorcana's not going to make that happen. But, like, look at Magic. Magic was released before Pokemon, right? And I'm sure they had the same thing where there was a lull between Magic and Pokemon, but Magic is still around. There's still a following. So it's just a matter of who can do it better. And hopefully Pokemon can come up with something that will make people want to flood back to Pokemon and be like, hey, buy our cards. And they do that. But it's all business. Everybody's going to be going back and forth. We might have to accept the fact that Pokemon is just going to take a back burner for now. Now, I could be in the minority here. You guys might just be incredibly super diehard Pokemon fans and not buy anything else, and that's fine. But I know I'm not the only one who thinks Pokemon is kind of losing its steam a little bit. No, I'm going to keep collecting. That's not the issue. But it's just a matter of, can you keep our attention? So with that being said, thanks again for watching, guys. If you liked the video, subscribe to the video. Let me know down below what you guys think Pokemon is going to do, if they're going to do anything. And I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.